Hi everyone! Today I want to talk to you about something that could get a little bit deep and meaningful, and the thing I want to talk to you about is emotional abuse. If you're not sure what emotional abuse actually is, it can cover a whole range of not very nice things that a person can do to you. Somebody could pick on you, put you down, criticize you. Everybody knows logically that those things are not something that somebody who claims to love you or be your friend should be doing to you. But unfortunately with emotional abuse, when these things happen, the person doing the abusing will quite often be very manipulative. It's a really insidious form of abuse, by which I mean the person who's being abused quite often doesn't even realise that they're being abused at the time. That sounds like a strange thing to say, but I know that that's true because it happened to me, and I didn't realise I was being abused. I was exactly like a lot of people. I thought abuse meant somebody hits you or they rape you or something like that. I didn't think what had happened to me was abuse because the person who abused me had manipulated me. In emotional abuse, the person will manipulate you into thinking that they can't help the way they behave. Almost all of us know right from wrong. Even young children know right behaviour from wrong behaviour. So when an abuser says that they don't know what is right and what is wrong and they can't help their behaviour, it's just a manipulative line they use to make sure you don't question what's happening. I had a lot of times where I would sit and think, what's happening to me isn't right. What's happening in this relationship doesn't make me feel comfortable. It's not behaviour I would normally tolerate from anyone. But because the person who abused me had told me that he couldn't help the way he behaved and given me reasons why he couldn't help the way he behaved, I excused him. That doesn't make the abuse my fault. It never is the person who's being abused's fault. But it does prove how manipulative abusers are and how they can use any excuse to make you accept the way they're behaving, and that's all part of manipulation. Abusers will also use manipulation to make you do things that you don't feel comfortable with. In my situation, it was making me agree to a kind of relationship that I didn't feel happy about, but I didn't feel I had a choice in the matter, and because I loved the person, I had to just go along with it, or so I felt. That kind of manipulation is also called coercion, and it's what abusers will do to make sure you do what they want you to do. If somebody is saying to you, come on, you'd do this if you loved me, and it doesn't have to be pressure on you to do things in a sexual sense that you don't want to do. Anything where somebody is putting pressure on you and trying to coerce and manipulate you into doing something you don't feel comfortable with is a form of emotional abuse. And again, it's really not okay. Another form of emotional abuse is control. All of this is really closely linked to the manipulation, the coercion, and the control. It's all designed to make sure that you don't question what's going on and that you do the things that you don't want to do. And it's not okay. People have their own minds and they should be free to do whatever they like. In a relationship of any description, a person shouldn't be making you change who you are. You shouldn't feel that you have to go along with things that make you feel uncomfortable. And if somebody is doing that to you, you need to try to talk to somebody and find a way of escaping that situation if it's possible and if it's safe. Emotionally abusive people will do something called gaslighting. Gaslighting is where a person will either withhold information from you or twist things that you said in order to make them look good and you look bad and you question your own judgment. Sometimes gaslighting can involve the abuser deliberately saying things to set off a reaction from you, and then when you react, which is only natural because they've deliberately set off that reaction in you, they will then look at you and say, look at the way you're reacting, causing you to question your own judgment and your own reactions and whether or not you are behaving in the right way. We should all be able to trust our own judgment. We should all be able to trust our own minds. But emotional abusers will try to put you in a position where you doubt your own thought processes and you doubt your own reactions. If the abuser is having a bad day, they will find a way to make it your fault. It doesn't matter if they don't raise their hands to you. It doesn't matter if they don't lay a finger on your skin. If they're shouting at you, if they're blaming you for things that you haven't done, if they're making you feel like you can't trust your own judgment, you are being emotionally abused by that person. Abusers do what they do and they don't tend to feel any guilt about it because they have a huge lack of empathy. One of the things that will happen in an emotionally abusive relationship is the abuser will have an awful lot of time where they want sympathy for their own problems and they want to be listened to, but they're not capable of extending that to the person they're abusing. That's something that's really common with abusers. They don't have the empathy to sit and listen to somebody's problems without making it about themselves. Quite often emotional abusers will operate a push-pull system, whereby they will pull you in and have you really close, tell you how special you are, tell you how much they love you and how much they need you. The next thing they will do is push you as far away as possible. That's so that you're constantly kept off balance. You don't know where you stand. It's another way of making sure that they can control you because you're in a weakened mental state. Because abusers are all about control, one of the ways that they will ensure that you constantly do as you are told is by withholding affection as punishment. You won't get a cuddle, you won't get a kiss, you won't get any kind of affection. It's to make you question what you've done wrong. It's to make you feel like you've done something wrong. In reality, you almost certainly haven't done anything. It's another way of being controlled. It's another way of being manipulated into thinking that you're the bad one in the situation. You're not. As twisted as it sounds, emotional abusers will take the things that make you feel the most upset and use them against you. This is again due to control and power. Abusers want to feel like they're constantly in control. They want to be the person in the relationship with all the power. Even subtly, an emotional abuser will make sure they are constantly criticizing. Those little things that you feel bad about yourself are the very things that somebody emotionally abusive will pick up on and niggle at until you feel worse. It's all part of making sure that you don't feel like you're worthy of being with your abuser. I know how hard it is. When I was in this situation, I really genuinely believed that the person who abused me didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know any better. He couldn't help it. I really thought that I was the only person in the whole world who could fix him and make him better because he made me feel that way. Walking away from that relationship is one of the hardest things I've ever done. Putting my life back together afterwards was even harder, but it's doable. You can do it as well. Please, if you are going through this kind of situation or you know somebody who is, please try and get some help. If somebody is psychologically tormenting you and making you doubt your sanity, if somebody is constantly manipulating and coercing you into doing things you don't want to do, if someone is bullying you, threatening you and making you feel bad about yourself, that's not a healthy relationship to be in and you don't have to stay in it. Whatever a person says to you, if you leave me, I'll die, if you go away, I won't have anyone to make me better, they say it to make you stay. The sad fact is, however much you believe that that person really will fall apart without you, they will move on to somebody else that they can manipulate. The thing that you need to worry about is not them, it's yourself. I'm going to put some links in the description to charities that can help if you or someone you know is going through emotional abuse right now. I'm also going to put a link to a book I wrote, which is a fiction novel but kind of semi-autobiographical based on some of my experiences, which you can get on Amazon. And I really hope that this video has maybe made you realise that abuse takes a lot of different forms and none of them are okay, but that there is help out there. There are lots of people who are going through the same thing. I thought it was just me. I thought I was going crazy when I left my relationship. I really genuinely didn't think I'd ever be okay again. But with my friends and my family and the support of an amazing abuse charity, I'm here today and hopefully trying to help other people who are in the same boat, or help other people avoid being in the same boat in the first place. I hope you're all okay after watching that. It was a little bit deep and meaningful. I'm a little bit emotional, probably gone a little bit watery-eyed. We'll talk about something happier next time, I promise. I just think it's really important to get this stuff out there and to talk about it really honestly. So I hope you found that helpful. I'll see you again soon. Take care everyone. Bye.